Fred Free Radio, this is Chiara Nicoletti from the 76th Venice International Film Festival with Mark Rylance, Gana Bayarsaikhan, and Ciro Guerra, director and actors of Waiting for the Barbarians in competition. Welcome. So I wanted to start with Ciro. I wanted to know, was the possibility of talking also about the present today that made you want to adapt this novel?
Yes, when I started reading it and working on it, I felt that it was an allegory of a distant place and a distant time that had echoes in the present. But unlike all powerful allegories, can connect our time with what happened centuries ago. But I could have not seen that the story was going to become so factual and topical. But in the whole process of the movie coming together, things started to happen in the world that makes it feel like it's like a portrait of now. And of course, we are very aware of that what was going on, and that permeated the shooting. But yeah, it's a very scary process that is happening in the world. Where one of the first things that needs to happen in order for authoritarian governments to rise is to erase the past, to change history, delete what happened, and to see that actually happening, and to see many people denying or having no knowledge of what happened in the past, and how easy it is to rally up societies against imaginary enemies is really frightening.
In this whole metaphor, Mark, I found myself to think that maybe us, let's say journalists or artists, are represented by the magistrate in a positive way or in a negative way. I mean, we think that we're the ones who know everything, but maybe we're not doing everything we can.
I think you probably can find the magistrate in all professions. It's anyone who believes that living a life in a particular harmless way and discovers that they're much more connected with something very harmful than they imagined. I'm sure that can happen in the media, and certainly can happen to storytellers, to actors and filmmakers, but I expect it can happen to doctors who are working with some kind of drug that they think is saving people's lives, and then they discover actually it's not, it's killing people, or many different professions. I wish it happened more to military leaders and dictators, but they're so well defended, aren't they? As Colonel Joel demonstrates, they're so very, very well defended. It's hard to get through them. But in this story, of course, he fails, Colonel Joel, and you see him unable to suppress those tribal people in the story. So that's a hopeful thing.
Gana, your character, we should technically see her as a victim, but she's a strong woman and she doesn't want to be a victim, and we can see that through the film. How did you perceive this woman when you started working on your role?
Well, yeah, when I read the book, I had the impression that she went through a lot of struggle, and she was broken completely in every way. But when I was through my exploration of her, that from outside to inward, to understand what's in there, and I found she's warrior, and she doesn't see herself less than, let's say, someone who is whole. And also her soul was unbreakable. So she kept that kept her going through all the struggle and to the end, really. Yeah.
One last question. While Johnny Depp was talking about Colonel Joel yesterday in the press conference, he made me think that the worst villain ever in films and in life is the one who think that he's acting for people's good, that he's doing the right thing. What do you think? In this case, also, it might be the case. That might be the case.
Yes, that was something that I could relate to Colombian history recently, because we've had these paramilitary leaders who were in charge of fighting the guerrillas and they did it for decades, and they're the ones who committed the worst massacres and the worst crimes against humanity. And they were really people who thought that they were doing the right thing, that they were getting rid of communism, and that communism was a threat, and it really led them to a path to the worst atrocities. And yes, of course, those are the worst. And also, that's convincement that you are doing the right thing and that you are right can really lead you down the worst paths. So yeah, that was something I could easily relate to.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, self-righteousness is a really, really dangerous feeling. I know I always do the worst things in my life when I feel most self-righteous. I shout the loudest and get the most angry and try and that's when I'm most likely to try and force other people to live their lives the way I think they should live their lives. Yeah, so it's a part of everyone's life, isn't it? The dangers of self-righteousness and not allowing other people their own freedom. Do you want to say anything? No? All right, be that way.
Thank you so much, Ciro Guerra, Gana Bayarsaikhan, Mark Rylance, for talking about Waiting for the Barbarians in competition here at the 76th Venice International Film Festival. This is Chiara Nicoletti for Fred, the Festival Insider. Grazie.
Grazie.
Thank you so much.